Okay, well, I am going to turn it over to Raleigh York to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, President Hope. We're pleased today to have Mark Kattner, Chief of Thomasville Police Department, with us. Mark started his policing career in High Point in 1987. He worked there for 10 years, and after that he came to the Thomasville Police Department and worked here till now. He has been chief since April of 2019. Mark received his education at GTCC, has an associate degree in business, UNCG, a bachelor in sociology, and he took a course at Northwestern University, advanced management program from the School of Police Staff and Command. Mark is a North Carolina law enforcement general instructor. He teaches in-service classes and basic law enforcement classes at Davidson County Community College and has done this since 2004. A specialized instructor in firearms, hazardous materials, first responder, rapid deployment, and active shooter. So with this, we're pleased to welcome Chief Kattner to our meeting today. And Chief Kattner, you just proceed as you wish with your program. Thank you.
David Martin.
I appreciate that, Mayor York. Appreciate the invitation. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? Mayor asked me to sit there and give a little presentation as far as where we're at the police department, the community, and all that, because these times are a little bit different out there with the COVID out there going on. And unfortunately, from our perspective, things really haven't slowed down. They're still moving pretty steady out there. We're still been staying steady and working out there hard. Had to make a few changes and all that, how we answer calls and communicate and all that. So we're dealing with all that, moving forward and all that. Thomasville, so far for this year, crime is down still 11% across the city, which compared to 20% decrease from last year. So overall, we're still fairly safe community. Thanks to the community help and interaction, the help from City Hall and from the police department and all the jobs that the officers do out there. Now, we do have a few problem areas out there that we're dealing with out in the community out there. For some reasons this year, everybody seems to be getting their car stolen. We don't know what's going on, but we're finding the biggest problem is that people go to convenience stores, gas stations, whatever, and they like to leave their car running. And they run inside the store, they come back out and it's gone. Or they'll sit there and turn around and come home at nighttime and leave their key fobs in their cars as it's parked in the driveway and go inside the house and come out the next morning and the car's gone because we got groups of people running around out here shaking cars, going in, and since all the cars nowadays got the push button starts, they're finding the car's unlocked, jump into it, push the button, start it, and drive off. So we're, having a little bit of issue in that area that we really need to get out to community and stuff like that. Start securing your stuff in your car, secure your car while it's at the house and all that, protect your property and all that. But like I said, for overall, for where we're at right now, crime in Thomasville is still down. Like I said, it was down last year as far where we're at. Some of the things that we're working on within the community, many years ago when Chief Murdoch was here, he developed and started implementing the COP, which is this program as far as policing, citizen-oriented policing, which was that interaction between the law enforcement and the community. We met with the community, worked with the community, interact as far as solving the problems that you have in the community, because we can't do it by ourselves, so we need help from everybody else. And over the years and all that, we slowly been transitioning from that to the newer program, which is POP, which is a problem-oriented community policing program. It still includes an interaction with the public. It's still getting the help from the public, but now it's more focused on the public comes to us, they have a problem. We sit down with the community, take a look at the problem, find out what's going on, what possible solutions they are, because some of them may not be law enforcement, some might be related to what can the city do to assist us, or what can some of the other service organizations do to assist us. And other times it is law enforcement related. So we take a look at that problem and say, okay, from a law enforcement perspective, what can we sit there and turn around and do with it? But like I said, all that comes from the community coming towards us or helping us or providing us with information, to take care of these problems. One of the best examples we had just recently, we had a drug house down on the south side of town, and the community had been complaining about it. We've been numerous emails coming in, numerous phone calls about this location. We investigated, we looked into it. We made drug charges, and we actually sat there and turned around, and cases went to court. People were put on probation, but it didn't solve the problem. It still continued. The guy got out of jail, came back, started right back up from where he left off. So the community was still coming at us and going, "Hey, we still have a problem down there." So under the new terminology as far as a POP, we sat there and started looking at going, what can we do to fix this problem? And we actually got up with the state ALE, which is the Alcohol Law Enforcement Program, and they got this nice program available for nuisance abatement. And we was able to coordinate with them. We actually called the homeowner in and say, hey, there's problems going on at your neighborhood, at your house. The community's upset about it. We're tired of dealing with it. Something needs to be done with it. And through this program, he's pretty much given two options. A, sell the house, or B, turn around and move these people out of the house. Or if you don't, we're going to come in and take the property, and then gets turned over to the city. And this guy decided, okay, I'll take care of the problem. And as right now, he's decided he's going to put the house up on the market and turn around and sell it. So that's some of the things that we're trying to work on and focus on, and all that is that interaction, that working with the community to solve the problem out there. Like I said earlier, this is not something that we can sit there and turn around and solve on our own. It's going to take the help, from you and everybody else living and working in Thomasville and all that to make it, a nice, safe place to come live and work. A few other things we've been dealing with over the years and development on that, is officer development. Several years ago and all that, as you guys know, working and managing businesses and all that, you got to get the right employees working for you. You have to have those people that are dedicated, who want to come work here, who understand what our philosophy is and do a good job. I'm lucky to say right now, compared to other agencies within the area, I only got 2 job openings right now that could be filled. Compared to some of the other ones, they're like 15 officers short, and people are not staying and coming and going because, most of the time when we lose somebody, it's either through retirement or something else. But we have a very low turnover, and it goes a lot to say for what we try to do as philosophy here at the police department, and what the city of Thomasville's philosophy is as far as working environment. So that time, as far as that, it's hiring the right person. Those are willing to interact with the community. Those are willing to help the community. Those are willing to go out there, and enforce the laws. Those are willing to come up with different ideals as far as solving problems out there. And, if you feel, and I've told it before and all that, when, asked for this job and all that, I'll take this group of people that we have right now working for us and put them up against any other agency that we have, because I'm very proud of the job they do, and they do a good job. As far as with this officer development, we've been focusing on training for the last several years to prepare the officers. There's been a lot of advanced management classes been taken compared to the way it was in the past. A lot of the senior management now have this advanced classes. A lot of the middle managers, the sergeants, and all that are going through supervising classes. And plus, we encourage the employees and all that to sit there and turn around and go through training. I ran a number the other day for city council because they were asking, and the officers last year attended over 290 different sessions of training to develop themselves and to improve themselves out there. To make the agency better, to make the community safer, So that's what we're trying to focus on, and so far it's been paying off pretty good for us. As far as the retention of officers, the caliber of officers we've been getting, appreciate their work. One of the other things that we did recently, all that was myself and City Manager Kelly Craver met up with North Carolina League of Municipalities. They play a role in assisting the cities in developing policies, procedures, training. A lot of things that they play a role. They're a separate organization, and they actually came into the police department and did a risk assessment of the agency. It took over for a year, and they looked at our policies, procedures. They looked at our training. They looked at the organization. Actually came down and toured the building and spent a lot of time in documentation. And I was happy to announce that back in July, they actually did the presentation, and they came in and presented us with this little plaque and all that, saying that we passed this risk assessment, and we are reviewed and proactively serving the community in a professional manner while taking steps to minimize the risk to the citizens and the officer. So we're very proud of this little plaque that we received from North Carolina Leading Municipalities, telling you that we're taking proactive steps. I mean, about a year and 3 years ago, we actually physically went through and rewrote all our policies, procedures, every single one. We're up to basically 167 policies right now, and that took over a year and all that to develop and all that. And over the last couple of years and all that, these new policy procedures made us better, made us work, different. When community had questions as far as how we were dealing with the stuff, as far as the protest up in Minnesota, we were able to come by and say, hey, our policy and procedures don't allow us to do chokeholds. They want us, if somebody's doing something wrong, to stop the officer to let them know. Recently, we just had to answer questions from the 8 Can't Wait organization as far as all these issues that they brought up. There's 8 topics. And we were able to go back and explain, hey, we either don't do these or this is what our philosophy is. And yes, we do give warnings, and yes, we do provide the training, and yes, we do all this stuff. So we was able to sit there and say, hey, we comply with everything that you like to see a law enforcement become, to prevent problems from happening in the future. So it's beneficial and all that as far as program. Of course, unfortunately, right now, we really would like for you to sit there and turn around and have an open house for the new police department. I know you guys have drove by it and seen it from the outside. The mayor and city manager can tell you from the inside, it's even nicer looking from the inside. If anybody's been at the building where we were to where we're at now, it's night and day difference. But I still invite you, if you get a chance or an opportunity, swing by, come by. We'll give you a nice little tour down here. So we really like to thank the mayor, city manager, city council on that for stepping up, the last couple of years and finding the money and all that to purchase this nice building for us down here so we can function, because there's a lot of things in here that we did not have in the old building. Allows different, we got a new crime lab in here. We didn't have that possibility before. We got large evidence storage. It's got all the bells and whistles and all I think that you should have for law enforcement. But the nice thing about it, when you come in here, it's a law enforcement building, but it doesn't look like a law enforcement building, because we looked at something in the community to be proud of, the law enforcement to be proud of, and plus we plan for something that will be here for about 50 years down the road, because we know you ain't going to get another one anytime soon. So, we do appreciate it. That's all I got. Appreciate it, unless anybody's got any questions about anything.
All right, Chief, appreciate that very much. All the updates, the way you guys, have gotten those standard operating procedures documented, and you taking your guys through training. But most importantly, I mean, the fact that you guys are hiring the right people to begin with, and evidenced by the fact you've had, you retain your staff so well. So great job. And I know there's probably questions out there. If somebody has a question for the chief, if you would unmute yourselves so that we can hear you.
Chief, I have a question. I live out of town, so I don't see your policemen very often, but do your policemen wear video cameras?
Yes, right now, I just did a study and all that. There's basically 2 patrol officers that do not have cameras, but everybody on patrol has body cameras, and we're in the, right now looking at purchasing the additional body camera. So every car has got an in-car camera, and all the officers will be equipped with a body camera in the near future.
Thank you.
All right, Chuck, you got a question?
Yeah, I do. Chief, what's on your wish list currently besides 2 more officers?
Well, unfortunately right now, one of the things I need to work on, which I informed the city manager about it, one of our dogs was just recently diagnosed with cancer. So I'm having to replace that dog. I really would still like to have a additional dog, because right now 3 teams have a canine. We have 4 altogether. One's assigned to special operations, the street level crimes. But, you know, I really like to sit there and turn around and eventually get another dog. So all 4 teams out there, but you're talking about $10,000, $11,000 a dog out there for the training and all that. So that's
Okay.
the biggest one right now.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay, again, just Chief, thank you so much. What a wonderful program. We appreciate having an update on what's going on in your department and in our city. And Raleigh, appreciate you, you know, arranging to have such a good speaker today and having Kelly and Michael join us today. Glad